Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Mia Boostrom,
And I'm Jillian Jensen.
and welcome to Exit Interview.
Be sure to check us out on Instagram, which is just Exit Interview Podcast.
Yeah, and you can also check us out on almost every streaming site, Spotify, Anchor FM, and many, many more. So keep on listening. Today on Exit Interview, we talked to DJ Johnson. She was a contestant on this current season of American Idol.
And she is just a flipping saint, everybody. Not only is she inspiring as an individual and with her songwriting and her story, but to be so young and so well spoken and reflective on everything, I just think she's just the best.
I know. I could have talked to her for 3 hours.
Agreed.
I had such a good time, and I really hope that you guys enjoy this interview as much as we did.
Enjoy, everybody. All right, everybody. We got DJ Johnson on this episode. I'm so excited.
Hello.
So you may remember DJ from American Idol. I cried. Mia cried.
sobbed.
I cried.
You cried. It was great.
Were you even on American Idol if you didn't cry at one point?
At some point in time. So DJ, my first thing that I want to say to you is, I told you already on one of your Instagram lives, but I just think you are one of the strongest freaking women I have had the pleasure of watching and kind of getting to know a little bit. And to be so young and to have gone through all the things that you've gone through, and I don't know how much you want to talk about it on here, but I know you referenced in one of your live streams being a mom to your siblings, essentially. You're just tough as nails, and I adore the hell out of you, and just
Thank you.
I do too. I know. I was watching your audition and I felt so connected to you because you're such a strong person, and for you to be able to lay out your heart on a show and rise to the occasion and just completely crush it and sound so beautiful. I mean, it really is one of the most amazing things.
Thank you.
Yeah, we adore you is what it comes down to.
We do. We absolutely adore you.
So tell us a little bit about, why Idol?
Yeah, why did you decide to go with American Idol?
Honestly, because there would be less people watching in the room.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I thought about The Voice, but you'd be auditioning in front of a huge crowd, and I wasn't really ready for that.
Yeah, definitely.
I have sang in church. I grew up singing in church, but it just seemed a little bit different, and the whole situation with my family happened. I just wasn't ready to get back on an actual stage with people, and I wanted to start small. So
You didn't really start small, babe. That's American Idol.
well,
Millions.
well, I mean, there weren't a million people in one room.
I know.
Yeah, I know. I get what you mean. Was it an intimate experience? Did you have a good amount of time in there with the judges?
I did. Yeah, it was cut very short on video.
It always is.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, but did you have a really good connection with any of the judges? Did one of them stand out to you more than the others, or?
I have always loved Lionel. Always. I was just oh my gosh. But and it sounds weird, but I never grew up listening to Katy Perry. And so I knew who she was, but I don't know her story or anything. I still don't. But when I went into the room, I felt a connection. I didn't know what it was. I did not know. I still don't know her story at all. But I definitely felt a connection, and she was crying and talking with me, and I'm sitting there did something happen to her too?
Yeah, did something resonate with her?
But what stuck out to her that and then she was saying that different words. I can't but basically that the people with I guess the most pain in their lives become the greatest. I forgot.
Well, I think that people with the most pain in their life become the best storytellers, and I think that you really showcased that in your original song. And I remember listening to that, and I honestly was blown away because as a 28-year-old now, I couldn't imagine putting my heart on the line like that, like you did. I mean, at such a young age, I don't think I could do it. And you did it with such poise and grace. And I mean, I was right there with Katy Perry. I was tearing up. I was sitting in my bed, oh my God, this girl is making me sob.
Honestly, I was labeled the quiet child in our family. So I never spoke to anybody. That was my first time sharing my story.
Oh my God.
And that wasn't even my full story. That was just, I was still trying to figure out how to share my story when the interviewers were trying to get it out there. You know how they like dig for all the
Wow.
the deep stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I walked in and I was like, I'm not going to share my story. I don't even know how, but I don't want that to be part of who I am now. But that's that's where I was back then. Right now,
Right.
I can't change that. I'm glad that that is part of my story because I know I wouldn't be who I am or where I am right now if that hadn't happened.
Right.
So I have a completely different point of view on that now, but I am glad that they kind of, pushed me a little bit
Yeah.
more than I wanted to get
Yeah,
that out.
I think it's like the gift and the curse of being a producer. I think they have such like an interesting mind where they know exactly how they like envision something like coming out.
Yeah.
That as a contestant, we're like in our head like, damn, they're asking questions that my therapist doesn't ask me. Like, you know what I
I
mean?
know.
Right?
I
But
know.
then the way it all comes together and you see the final
Yeah.
product and you see like what their vision was from the beginning and you see all
Yeah.
the people that you've inspired, you see all the people's lives that you've touched. Like that's when you see why it
They do what
happened.
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Because I mean, like I said on your Instagram live as well. Oh my gosh, I've watched so many. I feel like a freaking stalker. But like I said on it as well, we have a lot more in common than I think you realize. Not necessarily like our stories, like we don't, maybe not there, but like
No, I agree because
you know
I
what I'm
actually was
saying?
saying to you when I got to your house, I felt really connected to you on a level like I almost saw myself in you as like when I auditioned.
Yeah.
And there was like this really personal connection as like person to person, like maybe not story to story, but just the way that I don't know, I saw myself in you. And it
Well,
was
it's
very real and like very just genuine. I really appreciate that and I loved that.
Yeah, I think it's how you guys both handle yourselves for sure. Like I think a lot of that is like you're both really strong women. Like you're both
Aw.
really strong women,
Aw.
and
Thank you.
so I don't want to look at you because
I
I
know.
I hate both of you right now. I don't like crying anymore. Jilly doesn't cry.
I don't either.
I'm not allowed to cry after X Factor. I did enough of that there. But I think you guys are both very strong, and I feel like I can totally see where you would see that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So when it comes to that song you auditioned with,
Scars.
oh my
So good.
geez, Louisiana! Like I posted the TikTok. I know you saw the TikTok, but I posted
Yeah.
the TikTok, and because now you've seen the audition, so you know what I mean.
Yes.
Anyone who hasn't seen the audition, I'll give you like a minor little recap. So first of all, this is DJ Johnson. You best check her out, or else I will come through your listening device and kick your rear end. And secondly, so anyways, she goes into the audition. I'm not going to give all the background, that way you have something to find out on your own. But I will say it was an emotional audition where it was a song that DJ wrote. At one point, in the very beginning, she stopped singing, and then it all comes together, and she just knocks it out of the park. And I
Yes.
remember, like, I was doing my TikTok, and I was already emotional watching her story.
Yeah.
So I'm like, ooh, I have to film this one. So
Yes.
I'm like, I like this girl. So I'm filming, and when you stopped, I literally was like, no, baby girl, you got this.
this.
You got this. Come on. Like, I felt like your mom. Like I felt
Aw.
like your like older sister, your mother figure, because I just wanted to like grab you and give you all the love that you deserved from the
I
beginning.
think all the judges did too. I think they were all like at the
Yeah.
edge of their seat, like, I just want to go hug this girl. If COVID wasn't a thing, I would be like literally like holding her and hugging
Yeah.
her until
Yeah.
I did this.
Yeah, and I mean that like
You're literally making me cry right now.
I felt very protective of you.
I know.
Oh, thank you.
And I don't know why.
That's because I think that, you see the real emotion. And I think that that's a beautiful thing about what music is.
Yeah.
And as a songwriter, like, you do your job by making people feel things, and you did a great job
Yeah.
doing that.
Thank you.
Now, are you like, do you write a lot of music? Do you want to be like a songwriter in this community, or is it something like, did you just start writing music?
Okay. So, I started journaling at somewhat of a young age, and that kind of led to songwriting
Yeah.
because I was being really honest in my journaling. But I didn't start turning that into songwriting until I was about 13, around the time I was actually getting serious about singing. And so I've written finished a couple of songs, but I have a lot of unfinished songs. And actually, I will say I'm working on not a sequel or anything to Scars, but it's about forgiveness.
Oh, I love
So I'm working
that.
on that song. I don't really have a name picked out, kind of, going in between names for it. But yeah, so I'm working on that one right now. So I've written a couple of songs. I love songwriting and I love singing. So
Well, you're great at both of
trying,
them. So
Yeah, exactly.
honestly, keep
trying to
doing
figure out what
it
I'm gonna do
because you're.
there.
I think it's really hard to be a songwriter. As someone who's written
It
songs
is.
in the past, and Jill has written songs in the past, I think that people don't realize how hard it is to make a song that resonates with people and is
Oh, it's
catchy.
so hard.
It's so hard, and you do a really good job at that. So don't ever
Thank
stop
you.
writing music.
Yeah.
Thank
Seriously.
you.
Yeah, and the one thing that like, not that you're one of my students, but hey, I'm just gonna pretend like you're one of my students. But one thing that I tell like my students who take like either songwriting or whatever, or just music composition as a whole, those songs that you're like, oh well, it's not done yet. It doesn't matter. Keep pushing on to the next, or then return to it when you feel inspired, or force yourself, sit down one day and force
Yeah.
yourself through writing it. And even if it's not perfect, you move on to the next and you keep creating, because the more that you keep those creative juices flowing, even if it's something that you're not like, this isn't my best, like it's okay, just like keep it going, because it really does like help that continue to like flourish and get better and all that stuff, and like give you new ideas or
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. So how did
Yeah.
you get started into music?
Well, my family is musically inclined, and so I've kind of just been surrounded by it. So,
That's awesome. Were you
um,
like, did you have certain artists that you've looked up to in your life?
actually, I didn't listen to a lot of like other songs outside of church. That
Oh
was
my
just
gosh,
something we
awesome.
never did growing up. And so around the time, well, it was a couple of years ago. I think I was about 14. And I was like, I'm gonna start branching out a little bit because I can't like I only know this certain amount. I want to know
Mhm.
everything, and I
Yeah.
want to branch out and sing what I can, sing songs that people actually know, and connect with people. And so my dad was a worship leader, and all of my sisters sing. Nobody is pursuing it except me right now. My little sister might in the future.
That's awesome. She looks
She's
up to
a
you.
yeah, yeah. So that's really cool. And she wrote her first song at 3, and so she's
Oh my
she's
God.
getting there. I know.
That is so cute.
um, so she's I think she's gonna be a singer songwriter,
Well, I mean,
which is
especially
pretty
now that
cool
she
to
has you
think
to
about.
look up to, I'm sure that she wants to be just like you.
Oh, she does. She didn't like it. She didn't like it when I went to American Idol because she's like, you're going without me? Like, no, I need to be on that stage too. And I was like, you're too young right now, but in the future, like when you're old enough, you can go do whatever you want, knock yourself out.
Definitely.
Oh
Like,
my god, I love
but
it.
she
I
was
love it so much.
mad.
What was your audition process like? Did you have a like producer reach out to you, or was this something that you knew you wanted to do and you were just like, I'm doing it?
Let me see. Okay, so there were two ways to audition, and one was submitting a video. Nobody got back with me on that.
Hmm.
And so they said that the other one was auditioning over Zoom
Yeah, like the cattle
for the
call.
producer. Yeah, yeah. And so I went ahead and did both, and I got in with virtually with the
The
Zoom.
Zoom audition.
Yeah, I can't talk.
I mean,
um,
I honestly am interested because you had a full season during COVID.
Yeah.
How was how was auditioning through these processes? Because I know when I did a cattle call, and when we did cattle calls throughout our lives,
We had to go stand in line.
I stood in line at the Javits Center for literally 7 hours.
Yeah.
In a skirt, like
Hell.
freezing.
over Zoom, I think it was a lot easier actually. A lot of people said it was going to be harder because of COVID, but I think it was a lot easier virtually instead of like waiting in hours and hours.
Right.
I was waiting over Zoom for like 2 hours until they actually called me into their Zoom room.
That's exciting though.
So yeah, it was pretty cool though. I didn't know when that was going to be called or anything, so that was really fun. And I actually sang Scars and Remedy by Adele,
Oh,
man.
I love that
I
song.
love that song. I just sing sad songs. Like,
Same.
Listen, that's fine. That's fine.